As a wise person once said, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. So while I continue talking, I'd like you to start thinking about your single step. Speaking of steps, and I'm going to put this first page down now. Exciting stuff working with notes. You may wonder what these things are over here. I don't know if you can see them. They're kind of sparkly. There's some sparkly things around them. Well, these are my NFL Buffalo Jill's cowboy boots. This, to me, represents a lot of great steps, a lot of great memories, performing for tens of thousands of people, and breaking down the glass ceilings as a little Canadian from London who got picked to be in the NFL. And these boots, we actually made, all of the NFL teams had them made 2 years ago for our national reunion in Nashville, Tennessee. This summer, our reunion that was scheduled for Las Vegas, which would have been a lot of fun, was postponed until next year. So I'll be taking those boots to Vegas next year to join my NFL sisters and brothers, and we will be celebrating together for the first time since this pandemic began. When I look at these boots, it symbolizes a journey. I was a child of divorce. My parents divorced when I was 2. My stepdad is a minister, and so growing up, we moved every 2 to 4 years. Every 2 to 4 years, starting a new community, a new home, a new school, new music lessons, new dance teachers, new everything. I think we also got new pets every time because we ended up with a lot of different animals in our house. And those of you that know me probably think that's why I love my animals so much now. But I learned a key skill during that time, and that skill is adaptability. That's a word that I'd like you to also keep in your mind right now. Adaptability is something that we need to focus on in this time. We need to roll with the punches, we need to keep going, we need to keep looking forward, just like Kevin was saying, just like the butterfly. As a young girl, I was actually a tomboy. You could barely get me into a dress, and on Sundays for church, my mom used to put me in dresses. And we didn't have a lot, so most of our clothes she either made or we had hand-me-down clothes from other people in our congregation. But it never fails. Little Lizzie was always wearing rubber boots with her frilly dress. And after church, many, many times, I would take off to the local creek or climb a tree, catch some fish, catch a snake or 2. That was the way I wanted to spend my time. Oftentimes, I came home with a muddy, frilly dress and my good old rubber boots. So I think the boots theme has kind of been in my life for a little while now. And now let's look into post-academic career. I'll skip all the regular stuff. We all went to school, we all did that stuff. But sometimes you've got to take a shot. So I'll tell you the story of how this all started. And here's the quote that I wanted to share with you. It's from Wayne Gretzky. You always miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. So I took a shot one day. I had nothing to do that day. I wasn't teaching dance, and it was a snowy winter day. And I saw online that there was an audition just north of Toronto in Pickering. I thought, well, I've got nothing to do today. Why don't I go? It'll be a new experience, just like all of us here. If this is your first time here, it's a new experience. You're going to get something out of it. So I thought, oh, I'll go. Went to the audition, made the first cut. We had interviews later that week. And then the following week, we had finals. And at the end of it all, I became a Toronto Argonauts cheerleader. And it was something I'd never expected, but that began my career in cheerleading. And many years after that, I was able to be part of 2 CFL teams, 1 NFL team, a captain on all 3 teams, and a finalist for Pro Bowl, which is pretty awesome for a little girl from London, Ontario. I didn't quite get to Pro Bowl that year, but one of my good friends did, and I was just honored to be part of that process. So after that, I had the chance to start coaching and traveling and living in the States and in Canada and really working with other groups of people, community groups. I worked with the AIFL, the UFL, the CIFL, the NAFL, the WNBA. We did some shows for the Pistons. I took my dance students there to perform a number of times. And it gave me the chance to start using those skills and those experiences and bring them back home to the kids who needed them. I know there probably aren't a lot of kids watching tonight. But if you're a parent, or if you do have your kids with you, it's a great idea to sit down and share your experiences with them, your struggles and your triumphs, the things that you've learned along the way, and see if you can inspire them in some small way. I really feel like after the kids have been sitting at home for this long, that they really are going to need an extra hand when they get back to school or to online learning or to homeschool or to their pods, whatever it is that the parents choose. So take a minute to do that if you can. So there we have it. Glass ceilings have been broken. I was proud to be a little Canadian girl that crossed the border 2, 3, sometimes 4 times a week. The border guards started to get to know me. At one point, they would ask me to sign the swimsuit calendars that I was in. It became a lot of fun, but it was a tremendous amount of hard work, and it gave me a great work ethic for what I do now, for what Sherry and I do now with One Eye Entertainment and what I do now with my dance classes back here in London. Okay, I know you're probably itching for some juicy stories about the inside life of professional cheerleaders, and there are lots of them. I could probably write an entire book without naming names of really amazing experiences and memories and crazy moments. Maybe we can save some of that for the Q&A. What I want you to think about right now is how you're going to move forward. The motto that I use for my dance students is, if you can imagine it, you can achieve it. If you can dream it, you can become it. And so I've tried to not only teach that motto, but I've also tried to live that motto, not just for myself, but for all the kids that I work with. So I'm almost done, guys. I wanted to ask you to think about your actual steps now. So those steps that I was showing you. And a little later on tonight, I think, Kevin, we're going to have a chance to learn a little dance. So I'm actually going to teach you some real steps. But think about the steps you're going to do. And I'm not talking about your Fitbit. I'm not talking about, your time on the treadmill or anything like that. But take a moment. Find your next step. Sometimes the smallest step in the right direction ends up being the biggest step of your life. So, tiptoe if you must, but take the step. To finish off, I have an acronym for you that I'd like you to take home with you. And remember, I'm using the word boots. So think about these boots. Think about your own boots. Maybe they're construction boots. Maybe they're heels. Maybe they're flip-flops. Maybe they are sneakers. But think about what your boots are and what you're going to do with them. So B. B is for be. In other words, I'm possible. You can be whatever you set your mind to. O, one. There's only one of you. So be that one person. Be the individual. Give the world what your gifts are, what your expertise is, and be confident in giving that, especially during these times. I think giving is also a very key word. O for outstanding. You are all outstanding. Everyone here online, you're outstanding for just being here, for wanting to network and learn and be inspired. So continue to be outstanding. Don't let the daily pressures of this pandemic and all of the factors around it get you down. T, be teachable. I say this often to my dance students, and it's very, very true in an audition situation. The people who take direction well and who adapt, there's that word adapt again, are the ones who are going to succeed, the ones who will get the part, the ones who will get the job, the ones who will get the success. So be teachable. And lastly, spirit. You have a great spirit within you. All of us do. So don't forget about that spirit as you're going through all of these motions to make these other things happen. So again, be one outstanding, teachable spirit.